Hi, Karis. Nice to meet you. You're here with ATM Fox. Welcome to All Time Media.
Oh, sorry. That doesn't happen a lot.
So, how's your day going, Kara?
So far not too bad. There's been shittier days, there's been better days.
Yeah.
I feel like to look at you and then I have to look at the camera, so I'm going.
You look so cute with GK on your shoulder. Yes, you do.
Yeah. What's your cat's name?
Oh, this is Pumbaa. He's Philadelphia's favorite cat. I swear. He's
How long have you had him for?
about a year. He's a little older than a year now.
Yeah.
He just has a little baby potato.
Okay.
And, you know, what's it? Nice.
How old are you?
23.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
23.
23? Okay. And where are you from?
I'm from Philly, Northeast though, like not far from Northeast High School.
Mm-hmm. Born and raised, huh?
Yeah.
What can you say about this place, Kensington?
Honestly, it's a different world. I grew up, like I said, Northeast, like school teacher, mother, lower middle class. I wasn't like super spoiled, but I was sheltered, like protected.
Mm-hmm.
And I moved here with my ex. He was really abusive, and he sort of pulled me out of this cycle and moved me to Kensington. And that was like a culture shock a little bit.
Right.
It's just a complete out of nowhere. It's kind of like, honestly, I know how it's looked at, Kensington as a whole, but I honestly have met some of the like most genuine people I've met in this place. So even the stigma with it, there's a lot of bad shit that goes on, but there's a lot of really good people too. You know?
You say your boyfriend brought you down here?
My
Ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. He lived here for most of his life, and he actually moved me right onto Kensington Avenue, right off of Somerset, so right under the train. And it was for the first like 2 years or so, I only went within like a 4-block radius. It was my apartment, the corner store, the corner, and then an AA meeting once in a while. That was like literally. So it took me a while to actually explore Kensington. I feel comfortable here.
What's the status now?
Oddly enough, it's kind of home now at this point.
Okay, are you homeless?
I am on the streets currently, unfortunately, but we're getting back on our feet.
How long have you been out here? On the streets?
On and off for 2 years. When my most recent ex was locked up for a few months, I was renting a room, so I had a place I had to cope with for a while. When he got out, that changed again for a multitude of reasons. But for the most part, other than, I would say, most part of 2 years, but a good half of it probably was hotels. Sometimes jumping around with friends and stuff, you know what I mean?
Do you have an addiction?
Hi, my name is Kara, I'm an addict. No, I do have, an addiction. When I'm in active addiction, I'm kind of a trash can addict. That's like a NA joke term thing. I sort of do whatever. You know what I mean? The rough part of addiction is when you're addicted and physically dependent on certain drugs that come with a physical withdrawal. So the symptoms are kind of what makes it hard to get off of certain drugs, and then the mental part is a whole nother ballgame altogether.
So how many drugs of choices do you have, you would say?
Depends on different times different time periods. But for the most part, when I was really heavy in my addiction, at the worst part of my addiction, I was really bad with opioids and cocaine.
Opioids and cocaine.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I went through a lot of stuff with it. And it sort of just, that stuff can sort of throw your whole life into a whirlwind. It sort of becomes centered around that addiction, not because you want it to, but because it becomes like a job. If that makes sense.
What drug are you currently on now?
I'm not gonna want to answer that one, whether or not.
How do you earn money for your addiction?
Honestly, I webcam and that sort of stuff. Not that I judge the hustle, I completely support the hustle, but I haven't gotten to the point where I have gone out and drunken cars and stuff like that. I don't judge it at all. I think that's awesome as long as you're wanting to do it. But that's scary to me. I have PTSD and like my ex held me hostage and did a lot of really awful shit. So I don't want to know the stranger did. So I stick in where I still am a sex worker, but it's only through a webcam. And then I have people who help me out sometimes. You know, I have a lot of good people in my life who help me out. But for the most part, it's just the webcam and whatnot.
Right, I'm glad you don't work these apps, you know?
For safety reasons, so am I. Not that I am against it. Like I said, as long as that's what they want to be doing. But I think the problem with it is that a lot of people don't want to be doing it.
So you've done it before?
No, I haven't. I haven't personally. I have a lot of friends who do. What I was saying with that one is that I support it as long as that's what they want to be doing. You know, like if somebody decides to go and do that because that's something that they actually like doing and they make a lot of money and they're comfortable with it, that's fine. But the problem with it out here I've seen is a lot of people kind of feel forced into it, or they feel like they have no other options, stuff like that.
Do you ever remind your friends that it's still dangerous, you know?
All the time. I try to tell them, I've tried to show quite a few of them about the camming and how like it's a much safer option and you can still make a lot of money in the second, third. The problem with that is it's hard to keep a phone out here and then you need a place to do it. So when you're on the streets, a lot of them don't even want to hear what I'm saying about it because of, you know, the difficulties of actually keeping that up and the struggle to maintain it as a job. Because if you're not like actually working on it, you're not gonna make money. It's not the same thing where you can like just jump in somewhere and get, you know, whatever in a couple minutes. So it is a little bit rougher to start out with that one.
So you have a place to orchestrate your webcam business, though, right?
I find places. I make it work.
So what started your drug addiction?
My ex,
he introduced you?
He injured me, and I wasn't allowed to seek medical attention. So he sort of started feeding me opioids, and then withholding them as like an abuse tactic. So I would go through withdrawals and stuff. And
Wow.
the injury that started it was like a dislocated jaw. So when you're withdrawing, a lot of times you grow up with that, and growing up with a dislocated jaw is not like an easy thing to do. So, you know, I went out looking and then find heavier opioids, and that's how it goes. And then once you're on one thing, it keeps going up. It's just, you know.
How do you survive out here with you and your cat? How do you protect your cat in these crucial circumstances?
I panicked for a second. I thought that window was like that one where they're open. I was like, oh no, how do I protect my cat? You know? Listen, honestly, so before Pumbaa, I had Simba. I had them both as kittens. separated. But one day I woke up and Simba's leash was on my chest and was gone. Because I'm a mom when it comes to my pets, so like literally my world.
You were out here with Simba?
Yeah, somebody was selling him for $5 on the ad, and I was like, give me that cat. Because you're selling him for $5 and somebody's gonna do something bad. I know it, so I was like, give me it. So I took it, so I bought him. And I became a detective real fast. Within an hour of me waking up to him gone, I found where he was. I haven't seen him though since before he was gone. The fucking guy's a douchebag. Just so y'all know, on 2nd Street, right off the market, the book trader, the guy who owns it, is a scumbag, and he paid somebody to steal my cat because he tried to buy it from me a bunch of times. And I said, no, this cat is keeping me alive. Stop asking me to buy my cat. So he paid somebody to steal it from me while I was asleep. Then wouldn't let me see it or anything, no updates, which was like not cool because I get it, like I'm homeless or worried and think blah, blah, but my cats are very obviously well taken care of. They're fed, they eat at least 4 cans of food a day. So that was a really messed up thing to do to me because that cat, Simba, before Pumbaa, was really keeping me alive, keeping me to live because I was struggling with my depression really bad. But it worked out how it worked out because I got this little guy and he's honestly like my best friend, and he's got more of out here personality, if that makes sense. Simba would make a good house cat. He's kind of crazy, so he survives it out here.
Now, how do you feed yourself and your cat?
Honestly, a lot of times people out here are really kind with the food. People come out like as church groups or as families and feed us. They'll give out like bags of like sandwiches and stuff like that. They'll come out with a table and serve, like hot food. It's not hard to eat a lot of times as long as you know when food comes. You know what I mean? So a lot of times it's on a schedule. There's different places, like different churches and stuff that have like, okay, on Wednesday and Friday this time, sort of thing. The cat eats because let's keep it real, everybody loves this dude and everybody's constantly making a food for him. Because you make a lot of friends on this food, you do. And he's a fan favorite, so.
Do you see yourself beating this addiction?
Huh?
Do you see yourself beating this addiction?
I'm sorry. Do I see myself?
Do you see yourself beating this addiction?
Oh, one day, for sure. I know I am. Everybody knows I am. It's a matter of. So it's gonna sound a little bit fucked up, but right now, it doesn't seem worth it sometimes. The whole situation, not even just the addiction, but the whole situation, the homelessness, the not taking care of my mental health properly, all of it. Sometimes it just seems not worth it because I have done it. You go to rehab, you go to the psych ward, you do this, you pull yourself out, but when it fails and shit goes back to being shit, it's hard when you lose everything multiple times. When you have nothing to lose, there's nothing to lose. You know what I mean? When you start gaining things back, there's that anxiety that comes with it because all of it can be taken from you. You know what I mean? So you get kind of comfortable in a state of nothingness because you can't lose anything.
If you have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. You got a lot of things. Get your life together.
Eventually, I just gotta get there with this guy.
Once you get clean, what's the first thing you're gonna do?
I would like to see my family, like as a whole, like on a holiday. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they love me, they do. I get texts and calls all the time, but I haven't been invited to like Christmas or Hanukkah or anything in a minute. I would really like to actually feel like I'm with them again. Because last time I saw my family was at my grandfather's funeral, and the first time I saw my grandfather in a year and a half was in his casket. You know, and I don't want that to continue with other family members. So.
If you could tell your family one thing, what would you tell them right now?
That I know they're worried about me, and that I'm sorry for the fact that I do put so much stress on them, just with my life in general, but that I love them and that I will be okay.
That's sweet, Kara. I'd like to thank you for your time, Kara.
Thank you for letting me talk.
You've been a wonderful interviewee for me, you and Puma.
He's kind of slow.
Save her.
Hey. No, he's chilling. He's not. He's He's the boss, really. Real shit. He's strong as shit. He dragged me across the street, so I can't argue with him.
You guys stay well. I'll check on you the next interview, all right?
Have a nice day.
Tell me to be praying for you.
Join All Time Media's Patreon for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes content and face-to-face live video chat. Thank you, guys. The link is in the description below.